Manners, respect, people. Everybody good? It's Orange Month, people. The truth be told. Yes, Orange Month, the truth be told. What me say, when the truth I telling on nobody know I hear the truth, How is it the truth so the truth is so dangerous to be told, people. Hmm? The very fact say the truth is not supposed to be told. The truth is supposed to be believed. The truth is not supposed to be told. A lie is supposed to be believed. And Mr. People sometimes telling the truth for what it is makes such a difference. But if the people then believe in the lie, it's so disastrous. So enough things are going in the social media space, people. But we understand and say it's been done before. Why are we surprised? But now we have social media where everything is at our fingertip. We have Google. We can learn so much. It's up to us to educate. It's up to us to educate. Now them say them a take down I said all the things that them a do, people, I'm not saying it doesn't hurt for erase history. Of course, your accomplishment, of course. You feel a way if you know say it can be done with no consequences. That's the thing with what's happening. It can be done with no consequences. And it's being done with no consequences. So policies change things, education change things. Knowing the past make you understand certain things. But many people don't want to look at the past. I talk about the loop or me look upon it like say we're living in a loop. And other people talk about the loop too. But when you hear the professor say it's not a loop, it's just a continuous thing where it don't change until you understand what needs to be changed. And I say policy are one of the things that is so important. Policies change things. Remember me I talked to my nephew and him say it takes like 15 people to start a party, to start a political party. He says it doesn't take a lot of people. But first of all, you have to get like minded people who have a want put in the effort, because anything where you want to do, it's gonna take work. That's the number one thing. It's gonna take work, it's gonna take ups and downs, it's gonna take learning, it's gonna take compromise, sharing. But the fact of the matter, it can be done. That's why I'm saying for the next generation, it's gonna be so important for them work as a team. I'm gonna say smart people always come up with solution. Does that mean we're not smart? It means that we're smart, but again, because of our individuality, it's never unity to change things. I'm gonna say unity is strength. And one thing, you see, the criminal organization, they work as a team. We keep on saying it. All of the people them who do bad things, them work as a team. Criminals work as a team. Organ people, leprechauns, them work as a team. In the past, me look upon it and say, oh, for example, the NAACP, that organization, we had lots of organization that used to work as a team. Community used to work as a team. But you see, the things them will become distrustful of each other. That's one thing. When we listen to people now talk about our business for we is, I'm telling you, say, if you don't buy a bottle of sauce off of me, I'm going to make sure so you don't get on a bottle of sauce, because people say them order stuff and them not get it. That's a number one. But how we deal with business is not professional. We don't care about with clients like the way we're supposed to. And so one of the things we look upon, it's everybody will play them part good. There's no championship team will win without everybody upon the team no play them part. No championship team. And when you listen to all them talk, when years later and them say, well, I had to do this, I had to compromise this, and I had to do that, and putting egos aside are one of the things when I say are one of the keys. I'm gonna talk about keys. Egos are one of the biggest thing when I say, and ego come down to how we talk to each other. That's one thing I always notice, real person talk in one job interview in a court, them place there. You can't hear them conversation there unless it's in those places. It's like, say, for example, you can't learn nothing unless you're in a school, which is foolishness. Anywhere you go, you can learn something. You can learn from nature, you can learn because there's no limit on anything. It's limit on thinking. That's why I said there's no box. So when people talk about think outside the box, what box? So I always I look on things and I see how things is. What we need to do as human beings or humans trying to be beings. AI, what's up? It's betterment. And of them things I'm look upon in a we pass what we did have. The search for betterment. I'm mean, tell you this a generation, it's the money generation, and people think that money is betterment. And it's not. Because if you don't have no money, them have it for say you're not a good person. You know the money generation. If you don't have thousands and millions of flaunt and Gucci this and Gucci that, I tell you will become a brand, right? And money become the god. Those are the two in a this cycle. What me say, them two combination there are one of the most dangerous, right? We being a brand and money becoming God. Because people used to have like conscience, people used to have certain things, morals, where no matter how much money them get offer. So once them change everything to money can't buy anything, people just start believe that. So all of them things I'm say, how we start thinking, how we used to think, it's different. This is why people want the disconnection between the two. People want to say that was then, and a person will say that was then don't understand say it's now too, right? It's not in the past, it's in the present, the past, and it could be in the future too. So I always look on things and I ask question, right? I say sometimes when I talk to people who are Christian and I talk about certain things, them I get upset before them listen to understand certain things. I said the church was so important in our community, that was part of it. Uh, Anything where you take apart, right? You can see the different uniqueness of how it fit together. So I say you take out the church, you take out the community, you take out the the parents, in a sense, it becomes a one parent situation. But them call it single mother or soul. I say I was saying single mother, it's not single mother, it's single household. So everything, all we think, it becomes, so everything is like a catchphrase. People don't think and talk anymore, them just catchphrase. You see me? You see me? Everybody I talk the same way. Yeah, bro. You talk to one woman and you call her bro. All of them things that become just no conversation, no communication. So once it become convoluted, the normal thinking goes away. So when me always say the community was built on people, good people in a every corner. That's why I say it's not, evil doesn't come in a color, it comes in a form. The good people then they come in a all different form and then come together. Like-minded people used to look at things to change things. So when we look at how things is now, it's a past, present, right? And some of the questions that I always ask. So because the stuff that I usually get from off of the channel them I always big up the channel them. And this one I think I get information from this before. But I've listened to this channel before. Truth Unedited, that are the channel. And this one is the history of the symbol of the Christian cross. So Again, people may always ask questions about certain things. So certain time I up my dep on my life, you grab your pencil, you grab your book because you always something to learn about something, right? So as we proceed, people,
we must understand the symbols surrounding us. Today, symbols are placed everywhere without us knowing what they mean or who they represent. The thing about it is that the more that we see these symbols and do not understand them, or we place a sense of ignorance around them that tells us that they are harmless or even sometimes good, we can sometimes be initiated into the occult and mystery religions that are actually against our morals and beliefs. There are symbols that are ingrained into our society, things we see practically every day that without knowledge just goes over our heads, but they're also placed into our subconscious. It is done for a specific reason. This world is run by symbols. Symbols are a method of communicating an idea without having to speak a word. Manly Hall, a 33rd degree Scottish Rite Freemason, philosopher, and occultist, said this about symbolism in his book, The Secret Teachings of All Ages, written in 1928. On page 20, he writes, "Symbolism is the language of the mysteries. By symbols, men have ever sought to communicate to each other those thoughts which transcend the limitations of language. In a single figure, a symbol may both reveal and conceal. For to the wise, the subject of the symbol is obvious, while to the ignorant, the figure remains inscrutable. Hence, he who seeks to unveil the secret doctrine of antiquity must search for that doctrine not upon the open pages of books, which might fall into the hands of the unworthy, but in the place where it was originally concealed." Okay. Summed up, he basically says that symbols are obvious to those who know their meaning, and to the ignorant, it remains impossible to
okay, people, that's true. Sometimes you look on a symbol and it have many meaning to it, and the meaning is I'm telling you, sometimes we look on certain things. I know there's something meaning to it, even though sometimes you look on a picture and they show you a picture within the picture, but you really have to look at it to see the picture. As we proceed,
it remains impossible to understand or interpret. And that's why this video is so important. Because here's the thing: as you begin to study and investigate the history of secret societies, mystery religions, the occult, and ancient pagan civilizations, you begin to understand just how true and deep that quote actually is. As he explained in that quote, to understand symbols, we must dig up their origin, and much of them are awfully deeply hidden in occult mysteries. If we remain ignorant to them, we can become seriously deceived. And his quote is a great segue into this discussion of this major symbol that we need to discuss. As I have spoken about Christianity, particularly when I broke down the pagan tradition of Lent, there was an overwhelming sense of confusion around the symbol of the cross. The Christian cross, seen as representing the crucifixion of Jesus, is a symbol of Christianity. It is related to the crucifix.
okay, all right. And for me, when I thought about the cross growing up as a kid, to me it looked like the sword, right? And anytime when I was a kid, I know the first time I see it like in a some comic book, and it's like anytime the fallen heroes them dead and them use them sword and them use the sword to mark which part them dead. That's how I thought that the cross was. That was my idea of what the cross meant, right? Before I grew up and I understand Christianity, because it's not like say as a little kid you really understand Christianity. Them have to teach you Christianity. As we proceed.
That includes a corpus, a representation of Jesus' body, usually three-dimensional. But what's not known is that the cross is a very ancient pagan symbol. The Christian cross is part of a general family of cross symbols, meaning that the Christian cross is actually just a variation of the ancient pagan symbol of the cross. Now, today, what we know it's overwhelmingly associated with the religion of Christianity. And because of that, people believe that it's just a righteous symbol. But the truth is that it's far deeper than that. Our Father, Yahweh, does not communicate through symbols. He doesn't need to speak through symbols. He does not hide and he does not give confusion. The pagan mystery religions are the ones who use symbols because it communicates to both the initiated and the uninitiated. For instance, with Freemasonry, I believe no other organization on earth uses symbols in their communication more than the Freemasons. They're able to communicate to each other in plain sight because of our lack of knowledge on their secret occult belief.
Okay, and for me, the Freemason, the original Freemason was the laborers. I thought the Freemason started out with the laborers, with them that used to have skills as masonries, as plumbers, as electrician. I thought that came from um pretty much. I'm not saying Booker T. Washington, but around those times, that's what Freemason. I thought it was like free slaves who were. But as we proceed, people, because I say it's like as we learn, we understand.
And because they have degrees in their organization, what a low level Mason may know may be drastically less than one like Manly Hall, who was a 33rd degree. But for the uninitiated like myself, without a great deal of reading and research, much of this is just hidden from our understanding. So we will see symbols every day and think they're inconsequential and mean nothing, while they are actually passing on their promotion of Lucifer right in front of our eyes. The Christian cross is a pagan symbol. It was adapted by pagans who converted to and created the faith of Christianity. Christianity is a blended faith of the Hebrew scriptures along with pagan Greek philosophy, and this is why the pagan symbol of the cross was accepted. The Hebrews who dwelt amongst our Messiah did not use this symbol to represent them. When understanding this faith, you must attach yourself to the culture of the Hebrew apostles who spread this faith. You cannot and you should not follow the Gentile converts who never respected Yahweh's ways or his laws. The symbol of the cross is a pagan symbol, and the reason this is not understood is because we are not educated on history. We are just indoctrinated and told to blindly accept these things. And therefore, this is what we do. My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Hosea chapter 4, verse 6. We must come out of the lies and indoctrination. If you are a servant of Yahweh, you need to attach to his culture and not follow the pagan religious ways of the other nations. The problem is that we just don't know. And this is what I want to make sure is no longer an issue. The Christian cross is a pagan symbol, and we're going to go over it now.
Okay, people, pagan. I me hear the word pagan before, but me never know what the word pagan is. So, all right, let me Google and see what paganism is or pagan is. Okay, paganism is a term first used in the 4th century by early Christians for people in the Roman Empire who practiced poly, polytheism, polytheism or ethnic religions other than Judaism. It is crucial to stress right from the start that until the 20th century, people did not call themselves pagan. To describe the religion they practiced. The notion of paganism, as it is generally understood today, was created by the early Christian church. It was a label that Christians applied to others. One of the antithesis, antitheses that were central to the process of Christian self-definition. As such, throughout history, it was generally used in a derogatory sense. As we proceed,
An issue. The Christian cross is a pagan symbol, and we're going to go over it now. Let's begin.
okay, people, again, some of them things, yeah. So, okay, let me see. I look apart more. The term pagan, the term pagan derives from Latin paganus, revived during the Renaissance, itself deriving from classical Latin pagus, which originally meant the countryside, country dweller, villager, by extension, rustic, unlearned, yokel, bumpkin in Roman military jargon, non combatant, civilian, unskilled soldier. It is related to pangers, to fasten, to fix, or to affix, and ultimately come from Pro Indo European. As we proceed, people.
An issue. The Christian cross is a pagan symbol, and we're going to go over it now. Let's begin. Okay, so before I go into the Christian cross, let me talk a little bit more about symbols because I think it's important to understand some things first. The first part about symbolism that I need to communicate is that you can't change the meaning of a symbol. If a symbol was originally created to portray or communicate a specific message, it does not matter what you decide that you want to use it for. It still means what it was always meant to mean. The only thing that it means for you is that you have been using and representing something that you do not completely understand. It's very possible that you are promoting, representing, and or communicating something that is totally against what you really believe. Let's use an example. Let's take this symbol. This is a pentagram. We start with this because it's an easily recognizable symbol, and for the most part, most should know that it's satanic. Now, you just can't take this symbol and then say you're making it represent Yahusha now. In your heart, you might really believe it to be true and that you're doing a good thing by taking the bad and reclaiming it. But while you're transmitting this symbol with a pure heart, everyone that knows what the symbol really means is seeing Satan. The only
Okay, all right. Okay, people. All right. So, this is one of the things I was having a conversation about, right? And the N word. That's one thing we don't like. For me, I don't think I ever approach it before, but I was having a conversation, right? And I said, look, there's no way you can take this word and make it, put it any other way than what it's supposed to mean, right? So it was no, no, no. We're taking it and we're turning it around and we're making it lose the meaning of what it is. Yes, it's gonna lose the meaning for us, but a person who actually has the power in that meaning is still gonna have the power. It's not gonna change it, right? I'm saying for me, we shouldn't be using the word. That's just my opinion. We shouldn't be calling each other that word because when anybody call us that, it's not the same meaning. How even when we call, I don't understand. That's what I'm saying. I don't understand how it's gonna lose the meaning for what it is, even if we call ourselves that, right? And if we call ourselves that word, what's stopping other people from calling us that word? It to me, for that's one of the things I said it doesn't make any sense. So for him to say exactly in that sense that it doesn't matter what meaning you take from a symbol and change the symbol to something else, the true meaning of the symbol, the true meaning of the word is still going to be the true meaning of the word. unless the word was never invented in the first place, or if the symbol was not invented in the first place. That's what I'm saying. Why use other people's symbol when you can create your own and have your own meaning behind your own symbol? As we proceed, just saying, people, just saying.
Only person that's deceived would be you and whoever was influenced by it. Please understand you can't change the meaning of a symbol, no matter how noble your intentions.
And that's the messed up thing with the English language too, because sometimes you use one word and it has two meanings to it, right? Or even three meaning, or it depends on where you are. As we proceed.
Let's talk about the Christian cross. The cross is the primary symbol of Christianity and is recognized by all denominations. It's said to have many symbolic meanings. It represents the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. It symbolizes the redeeming benefits of Jesus' passion and death. It is a sign of Christ himself and of the faith of Christians. Now, to be clear here, so there's no confusion, I use the name of Jesus here because it represents the Christ of the pagan Gentile converts. It does not represent the true Hebrew Messiah of the Yahudim, Yahusha. The Gentile Christians are the ones who accepted the symbol and use it. It has nothing to do with the truth. We're talking about what they did. So, in using this symbol, it is said that the cross is the symbol of victory of Jesus over sin, Satan, death, and hell. And that's why the cross is used. And here's the thing, if this were true, then it would be powerful. But the fact is that the cross has been used for centuries before, and it does have meaning. It is a pagan symbol, and we cannot change that. You have to understand that this faith of the scriptures is a very serious one. Our Father does not adapt to the ways of the other nations. He told his people not to learn their ways. Thus says Yahuwah, do not learn the way of the Gentiles. Do not be dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the Gentiles are dismayed at them. Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 2. He told them, don't learn their ways. He also said, according to the doings of the land of Egypt, where you dwelt, you shall not do. And according to the doings of the lands of Canaan, where I am bringing you, you shall not do. Nor shall you walk in their ordinances. Leviticus chapter 18, verse 3. Also, therefore you shall keep my ordinance, so that you do not commit any of these abominable customs which were committed before you, and that you do not defile yourselves by them. I am Yahuwah, your Elohim. Leviticus chapter 18, verse 30. He does not want us adapting to the ways of the other nations. He wants us adapting to his way only. And if you're going to serve him, it's very important that you have this understanding tied into you. So let's deal with the symbol of the cross. In order to get there, I need to discuss a few more symbols before it. We will start here. The Ankh. This is a symbol that we see all the time. People.
Yes. It's a circle on top of the cross. I ever since me when I saw this one, I thought it's an ancient Egyptian piece. I didn't understand the meaning of it either. People, I'm telling you, say, as kids, our mind is open to everything around us, right? But then people come along and conform your mind to how they think or how you're supposed to think because they think this way. But having free thoughts, you can explore what you have from your knowledge before. Because how is it some kid can born like so young and them have the ability to do science and technology and all of them things at such a young and at such a early age? Huh? So we have it within us. So when I was a kid and I saw this sign, I thought it had to do with the Egyptian pyramid. As we proceed, that's my thought on it. As we proceed.
It, but I don't think many know what it really means. The Ankh symbol has influenced tattoos, jewelry, and organizations associate themselves with the symbol as a trademark. The Ankh is the Egyptian hieroglyphic symbol for life and eternity, and often referred to as the original cross, where it represents the unity between male and female. The loop of the Ankh represents the womb of a woman, and the vertical line represents the male genital. Now, to many people, they primarily see it as a representation of the woman, where the loop is still the womb, but the vertical line is the birth canal. Either way, the Ankh, or Crux Ansata, is a symbol for life. In the book, A Dictionary of Mysticism, it explains the Ankh as the Egyptian cross shaped like a capital T with an oval loop on the top. It is a symbol of life in occult tradition. It was used by the gods as an instrument for awakening the dead to a new life. The Ankh is an ancient.
Wow. People, that's a lot in one symbol. It's powerful. I'm telling you, sometimes a little bit time I see it, people, it just there's just something about it. Like I could just see it in my mind, but I didn't know the true meaning of it. Or I probably know it in the next life. For real enough, people. As we proceed.
For immortality and fertility. A former witch has revealed the Ankh as an emblem to identify the wearer as a worshiper of the sun god Ra. It would also be a seeker of the Satanist beliefs and one who practices the worship to the unknown gods of the supernatural. The wearer acknowledges the sun god Ra and works the voodoo of the unseen world through his hex. You should be mindful of people that wear this symbol. Anyways, this has been a big trend over the past couple of decades within Black culture. People believe that because the Ankh has been around for thousands of years, it's a great thing that has now become a fad because now it brings knowledge to the African people. People that have claimed the Egyptian beliefs as their original beliefs, they love this symbol. People are wearing the satanic symbol as a show of pride for what they feel is their original culture, even though it has nothing to do with them. In the hieroglyphs, the Egyptian gods and kings are often shown carrying the Ankh to distinguish them from mere mortals. The Ankh symbolized eternal life and bestowed immortality on anyone who possessed it. It is believed that life energy emanating from the Ankh can be absorbed by anyone within certain proximity. An Ankh serves as an antenna or conduit for the divine power of life that permeates the universe. The amulet is a powerful talisman that provides the wearer with protection from the evil forces of decay and degeneration. They believe it represents spirit, mind, and matter. This symbol has definitely been made popular by pop culture when many mainstream artists like Beyonce, Rihanna, or Erykah Badu have worn it. People believe that the Roman Christians stole the Ankh and then adapted it with their religion. And, there's much truth to that, but it's deeper than that because the Romans, they just adapted their pagan practices from the Greeks. And the Greeks absolutely took and adapted their pagan practices from the Egyptians. But I wouldn't say that it was stolen more than I would say it was passed down. What a person must always understand when understanding this is understand that these were pagans mixing in their pagan beliefs and traditions with the original belief in Yahusha, which was heavily infiltrated and watered down by the early church fathers, which led to the creation of the Roman Catholic Church. There is no connection with the Hebrews and with the Ankh. And a person should know that just because there were Black people in Egypt, this does not mean that this is where your family originated from. Please wake up out of that. But listen, even if they did, the symbolism is purely a pagan symbol that joins the masculine and feminine together. While to many people, to them it symbolizes life, they do not understand the connection with all these other pagan symbols. Just like the six-pointed star, the obelisk in the middle of a circle, the Baphomet, the yin yang, and many other symbols, there is always a mixing of male and female together. This is because it all goes back to Lucifer, who was androgynous, both male and female, mixing the father god with the mother goddess, the sun god with the moon goddess, fire and water, the union of heaven and earth, as above, so below. This is a cult symbolism of the mystery religions, and when you see these symbols, this is all that it represents. It is an easy way of representing the Baphomet. Stay away from this. But I had to speak on the Ankh in order to move to this next symbol. So
Okay, but it sounds like he's saying the ankh is a good thing, and then he goes, it's a bad thing because it's a bad for me. As we proceed, people, again, some of these stuff, it's better when somebody explain it to you, right? As we proceed.
continue.
People, classes out, school is open, classes is full or empty. It's for us to learn and understand, right? As we proceed, people.
Next symbol. So let's continue. The swastika. So yes, I had to discuss the Ankh first because this symbol of the swastika is related to the Ankh. Occultist Helena Petrovna Blavatsky, in her book The Secret Doctrine, The Synthesis of Science, Religion, and Philosophy, on page 587, she says this about the swastika. New world symbols are more pregnant with real occult meaning than the swastika. Now, please remember what I said earlier. You cannot change the meaning of a symbol. If a symbol was originally created to portray or communicate a specific message, it does not matter what you decide that you wanted to use it for. It still means what it was always meant to mean.
And that's the same thing I say about words. You can't change the meaning of a word. Okay, okay, so one of the things that the people them nowadays say, you're capping, you're capping. They keep on saying, me even hear the little kids them want say capping. No, I'm saying if you're capping, it's supposed to either mean you're lying, right? Or if you are shouting, which means when you type in a capital letter, right? To me, that would be sensible, right? If you use capping in that sense, or if your capping is when you go out there and you box up people, right? So just for these people to use capping in such a, well, I'm not telling the people this, why I'm gonna say sometimes the things get so convoluted when there's word for the see, there's words, there's word for that, there's meaning, there's meaning for that word, or word for that meaning, or there's word to represent what they're talking about, right? But they use some totally different word that doesn't fit in that position. It's unlike politician in some sense. They might use some big word when I make no sense in that sentence. So this is why I'm saying why change the word, or if you know the meaning, why change them? Yeah, if you know the symbol means something else, why take that symbol and then try turn it into something else? As we proceed, people.
For it still means what it was always meant to mean. The only thing that it means for you is that you have been using and representing something that you do not completely understand. And today there are many challenges to that statement due to the swastika. Let me explain. You see, people believe that this symbol originally was a symbol used for good before Adolf Hitler adopted it. But that is really the farthest thing from the truth. People believe this, though, because of some of the themes that have surrounded it. The symbol is a very old solar symbol. The name comes from the Sanskrit word swasti, meaning well being or so be it. People consider it a symbol for luck.
Gotcha.
In examining the elements that make up the swastika, the first thing to notice is that the shape of the four arms resemble a wheel. Like a wheel, the swastika can rotate in either direction. If the arms are pointing in a clockwise direction,
Okay, and I always thought that it looks like, it looks like one wheel, and it look like one. When we look on it, it look like one spanner. It look, it just look to me when the very first time I see the sign, it just, it just have me, like the very first time your brain look on something is like so you know it. And I keep on saying it though. Most of them things that I'm going through is like I know these stuff before. It's like some I keep on saying I've been here before, and them things that it's like I'm aware of them, but it's like then they're on one different, or they're not. They're in your brain, but they're not highlighted. You can't say that. It's in our DNA, but we not bring it out. But these stuff, myself, it's like they're connecting for me now as we proceed, people.
It is symbolizing the sun, the male principle. If it is pointing counterclockwise, then it resembles the moon, the feminine principle. This is a pagan symbol. In the Royal Masonic Cyclopedia of History, Rites, Symbolism, and Biography, when reading about the swastika, we find that the swastika was the hammer of Thor, celebrated in the mythology of the Norse nations. And the tradition ran that when Thor threw his golden cross, it struck and, like the boomerang, returned again to his hand. In Masonry, however, we find this hammer of Thor exceedingly important in a very ancient usage among the Goths, and in the Masonic fraternity, it has survived in the form of the mallet. Now, let me go over this briefly so there's no confusion. Because if you watch the Avengers, you know who Thor is. And you're probably wondering how he got in this discussion. First, understand that the gavel is an important Masonic and Eastern Star symbol. In ancient times, the gavel referred to the hammer of the pagan god Thor. Again, Thor is another pagan god. Albert Pike gives us some additional names for Thor. On page 368 of his book, Morals and Dogma, he writes, Thor was the sun, the Egyptian Osiris, and Neth, the Phoenician Bel or Baal. This god Baal, under the name of Thor, is called the Prince of the Power of the Air. You see, not only does Satan have the same title as is given to the god Thor, but we should notice that the word Thor means thunder. Thor was the god of lightning and thunder in Norse mythology. This is a significant statement because Satan has used a symbol called a satanic S, which resembles a lightning bolt. In Luke chapter 10, verse 18, Yahusha says, I beheld Satan as lightning falling from heaven. Or Ephesians chapter 2, verse 2 says, in which you once walked according to the course of the world, according to the prince of the power of the air, the spirit who now works in the sons of disobedience. Ephesians chapter 2, verse 2. I want you to remember this anytime you start liking this character in the Marvel movies. This world is so deceptive, making us like these satanic gods by making them likable in comic books and then movie form. They just sneak it right in. Having our children identify with Satan is ridiculous. But the point I was talking about is the hammer, not really Thor. So let's keep going. Masonic author J.S.M. Ward, in his book Freemasonry and the Ancient Gods, on page 238, he writes, thus we see that the hammer or gavel and the towel were originally the same, and this is a natural evolution of symbols. For the towel cross is evolved from the phallus, and that is the symbol of God, the Creator. You see, so he's saying that the symbol of the gavel, the hammer, and the towel cross were all the same, and therefore their meaning would be the same. On page 241, he continues saying, but this is not the only place where the towel cross occurs. The gavels are all T crosses and combined in one symbol, the hammer. The sign of rule and the T cross, the symbol of the male or creative side of the deity, unless there should be any mistake. The T is placed on the apron of the master of the lodge, though placed upside down, so as to give the symbol of the square and also to emphasize its phallic meaning. And also dealing about the tau cross, the book, The Sign Language of the Mystery states, the tau cross is a very ancient symbol representing the phallus, and hence it often stands for our animal passions. You see, this is where we get to understanding the cross. The tau cross is a very ancient symbol. The reason why the cross is a pagan symbol is because of the tau cross. The tau cross was a sign of three major deities, the Sumerian sun god Tammuz, the Roman god Mithras, and the Greek god Attis. All the same god, just known by different names by different cultures. Now, the Greek variation of the tau cross is the same T-shaped cross that's placed on the forehead of Tammuz followers. This is what we see done on Ash Wednesday to many Catholics, which is what Lent is all about. It's about the weeping of Tammuz.
Okay. So me always see that sign up on them forehead like one cross. I mean, I wonder how come some people always put on a something upon it. I know, sir, I did some religion thing, but I didn't know like people. Me say me never like some of them things. I'm tell you, said there's so much. The way I look at it, there's so much different belief out there, right? People have so much different. That me say it's like different, same tribes, different culture, right? But them still can't survive. That's why I'm gonna say all of them religion are different religion, right? People can't believe in what them believe about. Me say it always comes down to good people and bad people, right? No matter whatever you believe in, right? It comes down to good people, bad people. As we proceed,
Put that cross on the head. Lent is about the weeping of Tammuz. I recently made a video about that if you have not watched it. Let's continue discussing the Tau cross, though.
Many sales teams.
again, people, what me say? As much as everything what people talk about, right? It's good people, bad people. No matter which religion you are practice, if you not practice good, that's why I'm gonna say me look on spirituality over everything else because when you're spiritual, you live with other people. Your spiritual people look at peace within themselves. Religion is me look on it and say people are force people to believe in what them believe in. So when we look on it and at spirituality, that's with inner peace and spirituality trump. Me say that above religion because if your religion not teach peace and love and unity, you not talk about the true the true God. If you use religion for hurt people and them things there, again just like how me say it's not this the skin color, it's the form where them come in and it comes down to evil. As we proceed, people.
Designed to address the challenges that you and your.
Let's continue discussing the Tau cross, though. The Tau cross is the symbol of the pagan slain and risen god Tammuz. It is the symbol for just another counterfeit Masonic Christ. Now, the Latin cross is the cross that is associated with Christianity, and its accounts of origins, they vary, but many accounts link it to the Tau cross. Now, listen, I do not try to use any symbols to represent my faith. I don't need them, because no matter how we swing it, there is no scripture telling us to do so. When the scripture tells us to bear our cross, understand it's a metaphor for suffering the same as our Savior. And I also believe it's a mistranslation because of other translations use the word stake instead of cross. Either way, this scripture does not give a command to carry a symbol as the Catholic Church has made it mean. But back to the point I was trying to make. I use all that information to bring us to this understanding. The Ankh, which we just went over, is a variation of the Tau cross. The hammer of Thor and the gavel are also Masonic symbols that are variations of this Tau cross. And the swastika is also the same thing. It is a variation of the Tau cross. So in finishing up about the swastika, just understand this is not a good symbol that was made evil by Adolf Hitler. Absolutely not. It has always had occult beliefs tied to it, which is why Hitler used the symbol. You will see this symbol used over the millennia by various pagan cultures and empires. And the Dictionary of Mississippi.
Hey, wait a minute. It kind of look like that same thing upon a StreamYard sitting here, But this a StreamYard sitting here. It have like three instead of four. People. Mm. As we proceed,
we find that the swastika is a very ancient and widespread symbol, one of the most sacred and mystic diagrams in occultism. In general, it is regarded as a symbol of the sun. In India, especially, it is used as a symbol of good luck. Hitler used the swastika to represent his Nazi party. It must be known that Hitler was very much into the occult and was a disciple of occultist Helena Blavatsky. Again, referencing her book, Secret Doctrine, the swastika is purely phallic. The swastika, the most sacred and mystical symbol in India, the Jaina cross, as it now is called by the Masons, it's the devil sign. We are told by the Indian missionaries. You see, understand, just because this sign is associated with Hitler and the Nazis, and many people want to associate it with evil because of them, you must understand it is a much older symbol that has always had an evil association. Now, let's talk more about the cross. According to the Encyclopedia Britannica, there are 4 basic types of iconographic representations of the cross. The crux quadrata, or Greek cross, with 4 equal arms. The crux emissa.
hold on. That the one that our them use for the Red Cross people them, like the equal something for the 4 side. The Red Cross, of course, but it's obviously the name Red Cross is in the name already. But I know say them use the other cross, them use a shorter cross, them not use the regular cross. As we proceed, people.
Latin cross, whose base stem is longer than the other 3 arms. The crux commissa, in the form of the Greek letter tau.
The crux commissa. Oh no, it's not 2. It's tau cross. What I'm trying to say, the way when me as a kid I grew up and me look on the cross, I'm trying to say, me look on it as a sword, because when me look a bit and see it in the comic book and me see them use the sword when them bury the hero them, like the people them not the hero them, the people them were dead in a fight and stuff like that. That me think say it did mean so. Even the fact say them use it for the dead people and them use cross in a church, and then them say the cross represent life. But me I say if God did have to carry the cross, him did have carry crosses. So it's a 2 cross, Saint Anthony's cross. So Saint Anthony cross is like the T what we use for the letter. As we proceed,
called St. Anthony's cross, and the crux de cassata,
the crux crasada. So this is one that come in like one X. This is where them, but me saying time them are the balloting, I think. Them use that one here. When them a vote, them use the X. So this is one here one cross too. As we proceed, people.
Roman decussus, or symbol of the numeral 10. Tradition.
Okay. So them use it as Roman new. So what time they might do the X for the football and them things there. At 10. People, it actually mean 10. But it still come from the cross too. So in everything one cross in it, some form of cross in it. As we proceed, people.
Favors the crux emissa, also known as the Latin cross, as that is what they say Messiah died on. But some actually believe that it was the crux commissa, which looks like the letter T. What you want to understand is that there are many variations and ornamentations of processional, altar, and heraldic crosses, of carved and painted crosses in churches, graveyards, and elsewhere. They are all developments.
And that me say in a graveyard of all places, crosses so. And then people put cross in them house too. And the same thing with words, people. Me telling you say how them use words for different meaning. So when people use cross, them I use crosses for different meaning. Cause the KKK people them use crosses too. But them said for them cross on fire. We don't know what's that all about either. We have to do a deep dive all into that. As we proceed, people.
These four types that I just discussed here. You'll see many different types of crosses, but they all go back to these crosses. Again, the on cross, the swastika, and the Celtic cross are all different variations of the original Tau cross. The Encyclopedia Britannica, it also explained what I explained earlier. It explains cross forms were used as symbols, religious or otherwise, long before the Christian era. But it is not.
Okay. See, long before the Christian era, so the Christian people them implement it now in a for them religion and say and implement it in a them church. As we proceed, people.
It's clear whether they were simply marks of identification or possession, or were significant for belief and worship. Two pre-Christian cross forms have had some vogue in Christian usage. The ancient Egyptian hieroglyphic symbol of life, the Ankh, a Tau cross surmounted by a lute and known as crux ansata, was adopted and extensively used on Coptic Christian monuments. The swastika, called crux gammata, composed of four Greek capitals of the letter gamma, is marked on many early Christian tombs as a veiled symbol of the cross. You see, this is right in the Britannica that anyone could use for themselves. I have the hard copies, which contains more details, but online it does contain a lot of the useful info as well. You see, it was the early church fathers who adapted the symbol of the cross as a symbol for Christianity. But it wasn't until Constantine that it gained full acceptance. After Constantine converted to Christianity, he abolished crucifixion as a death penalty and promoted as symbols of the Christian faith both the cross and the Chi Rho monogram of the name of Christ. The Chi Rho is a Christian symbol that combines the first two letters of the Greek word for Christ. It looks like this. It is one of the oldest forms of the Christogram. The Chi Rho is.
Okay, it looks like a P and a X mixed together. The Chiro, what you call it, cross? As we proceed, people. I'm telling you, say them things that I me never know about them things that people. I am learning because I'm tell you, say, I'm just write down the things them where them I talk about, the books them and stuff like that. Because me say some of them things that I have never heard about before. As we proceed.
By overlapping the Greek letters of Chi, which is the X, and Rho, which is the P, so that the vertical stroke of the Rho intersects.
See, I told you X and a P, then put it together. People. As we proceed, people.
The center of the Chi. You need to understand this all about the culture of pagans who hijacked the faith of the Hebrews and adapted it to their own version. This is what Christianity is. And it's this version that the majority of the world follows and practices. The point of the matter is that the cross is an ancient pagan symbol, and it was a pagan symbol used by the pagan empires of the world way before our Messiah. You should understand this is one reason why the cross was used for crucifixions. Remember, our Messiah was crucified by Romans. The Yahudim gave him up to the Gentiles to kill. When adapting this symbol, you are taking on a pagan symbol that preceded the Messiah. The reason it is used today is because these same pagans took over the faith and they declared themselves to be the main source of influence. This cross and the use of it shows the dominance of Rome and pagans and their influence. By bearing the cross as a symbol, it attaches those who use it to the influence of pagans. Our Father does not use these symbols. He does not need them. The Israelites never communicated in this way. Satan communicates through symbols. Please understand the Tau cross is the symbol of the pagan slain and arisen god Tammuz. It is the symbol for just another counterfeit Masonic Christ. It is a symbol that refers back to the Antichrist. People holding this cross is because they are referring to the Antichrist that's coming. You need to understand that this world is leading the masses to the worship of a false Messiah that is coming. All religion in this world is heading towards this false Messiah. Christians bear these symbols as a representation of this fact ignorantly, for the most part. And it must be understood, it does not matter if they're aware of this or not. It does not change the truth of it. The reason these symbols and many more of the symbols are so prevalent in our society today is because we are close to the revealing of this Antichrist. These symbols are all around us, and they are using them to communicate wickedness to us. They are preparing us for their new world agenda and programming our subconscious to accept him, or at least create enough wicked spiritual energy to create the conditions for his coming. These symbols are not inconsequential. Many people often ask, well, what symbols do believers use? Again, we do not need to communicate through symbols. Our belief is not hidden. It is not esoteric, given in dark in the secret. We do not need to mask our beliefs and hide behind symbols. We don't hide. We live out in the open and shine in the light of our Savior. We walk boldly in his authority. We cast down all wickedness, demons, spirits, and principalities in the name of Yahusha. These symbols were transmitted over time to communicate a mystery religion that is now coming out into the open, which the world seems to be ready to accept. Believers are the only thing standing in its way, which is why the world hates us. Let me say this because it's important to understand. Please understand and know that these symbols did not make you evil if you have used them unknowingly or without pure understanding. You're just communicating messages that you did not understand. And in this last days, it's time that you do. Our goal right now is to cleanse ourselves from wickedness and remove ourselves from being tainted because we were led by false leaders who we blindly followed. Knowledge helps you no longer be deceived, and that is what I desire to equip you with. Now you know more of the history, and the knowledge allows you to not be ignorantly influenced by the wicked. Remember this. See then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. Therefore, do not be unwise, but understand what the will of Yahweh is. That's Ephesians chapter 5, verses 15 through 17. Listen, do not be unwise. Redeem the time and prepare yourself for the kingdom. We are not pagans, and we have nothing to do with their ways. Cleanse yourself from this wickedness and be a representation of our Father through the fruit that you produce. We right now are redeeming the time because the days are evil. This is your charge. Walk in it.
Okay, people. Again, I didn't know them things here about them signs and signs, but tell us how I feel about signs already. I create my own logos and stuff like that. All of these stuff, I don't know if those are considered sign. I guess a logo is a sign. People may not understand. It's not like what I say. It's not everything when it just come readily for you just understand everything. You have to learn to understand something. So this me I go consider. I'm just gonna say this is a part one because again the history of the symbol of the Christian cross. Now I say one of the things what I say I look at, it doesn't matter what religion you practice, it's good or evil. That's one of the main thing people have conversation about, but they don't talk about good and evil. There's evil people, right? And there's good people. The good people them always do good. Me talk about that. I'm not saying them perfect because there's no perfect. We talk about that too. But I'm saying the majority of the time the good people them is gonna do good stuff. a majority of the time bad people are gonna do more than majority of the time bad people are gonna do bad things and probably do one good things, yes, but are not consistently doing good things. So it's, to me, it's not about the religion, it's about the people. Again, the man say there's gonna be evil days, but how can days be evil? It's people. It comes down to people and how them live, their mind. I said there's good people, there's bad people, there's aliens, there's beings, right? There's different type of people who we have to deal with, but you can't make, I don't look at everybody and say everybody is the same, or say this race is good or that race is bad. It's not equally this race is good or equally that race is bad. Me now go split it down because evil is just evil. And when me say me looking at the past and see how we treat each other, first of all, we can't complain so we are get treated bad. I say as a Jamaican and say how them treat Rasta and how Rasta supposed to be, them are Jamaican too and they're humans too. There's so much different story upon the Maroons. Them different, them still a Jamaican, and whatever situation it is, right? Them still, them not supposed to get wiped out. Rasta not supposed to get wiped out, right? So when we say it's evil, if we not conspire with people, if we do wrong, it no matter. We not evil, and it's right across the board. That's a one thing we have to look upon, you know. Can me say when me say look upon it and say people have a choice all the time, but most of the time the choice what they make later on them other like the choice. For example, all them people who vote for Donald Trump, or enough of them want them would love to get them choice back. But in the beginning them did have a choice. The when they got the vote, them vote him in landslide, Ray. That's why I say we need to understand certain things. And we can't complain about it if we don't understand it. When we see up other people pay attention to what's key, meanwhile it's entertainment we supposed to pay attention to. Entertainers are, when I say me no see no entertainer now a step up and do anything according to what's happening. Me no see 30 entertainer come up and put up say $100 million if say all of this is for fight. Put some lawyers together, some, those are the things we can go against Trump policies, lawyers and advocates and them things there. So if them look upon it and say we have the money, let's put the money together, right? I'm gonna talk about how community used to be. I talk how it's everybody playing them part and come together. Now if them have all of them millions of dollars, yeah, trillions of dollars between 30 football, 30 basketball player, 25 entertainer, come together with all this money and say, okay then, so we money. Remember main time when them did have the thing that we are the world, where all of the entertainer then come together and them sing one song and them times they we never have viral, but trust me, them did viral. If all of them people they can come together and say we can do something to change something, how come we not see all of the people and with all of the money and everything now come together to change nothing? Again, the people them have to change. The people them personal, let me say it's the individuals them have to decide say them have to change, even in this lifetime, next lifetime, then come back, them have to decide for change. And that are one of the things that some people choose not to, even though them understand how important it is for them change. It will benefit not just them, not just the people them around them, but themselves too. We can't blame a person for say, me I got hold on to my values. But what if they're not values? They're devalue. It makes sense I hold on to them. That's why I'm gonna say it's so key to like-minded people for change things. Like-minded people. It's frustrating to talk to people who don't have a clue of the mission where you're upon. You want to raise chicken and then have not them not ever have a clue what an egg is. So you have to go explain to them where an egg come from or an egg, whatever it is, just if you get to the point of say, yeah, right, make we start build a coop. That's why I'm say these are the things I'm say the conversation them we're supposed to sit down and have with each other. Instead of shout, scream and argue. Them things that we can't make we go to the next level. You know the funny thing about it when we see the people them are marching in the states, the people them march and the people them have an agenda, the people them say them are gonna do this, them are gonna get together, them are gonna organize this, when you not leave, when you get the phone numbers them together. That's why I say what's the sense we are march and we don't have no agenda, we don't have no clue. We just have a march and stand up in front of one building and yell when we can sit down and come up with a plan. People them march, people them have them things, them are gonna get them whoever them voting and all of them something that those are the things that change things. The paperwork, the legality of things. That's why I said technicality and them things that are them things that them use get people off in a court. You know, drape up no judge and beat up no judge and broke no foot here so and pop no hand there so. No. It comes down to the legality of it, policies. That's why I'm say education first. We used to be smart. We used to be a push. We help each other with anything. I tell you one of the biggest frustration is fit. I said the same thing over and over and over and over. It comes like say you all are annoy yourself. But sometimes when you want to get your point across, it's to the wrong people that may try to get it across to. So sometimes you never want to get your point across anymore. Because for change things, it takes people who are like-minded. They can't just talk about changes and you're not interested when it comes to actually get things moving. So it's so easy for people criticize, be critical and then condemn. Then criticize, condemn, judge, condemn, execute. Nothing. Okay, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to elevate situation, make situation. No, none of that. No upliftment, no encouragement. I'm gonna tell you how important support is. So the one and two people them who I like my video and I watch my video, I say, yes, people, and on a 2000, but I say if a 10 or 20 views per on a video, that's good. That means that somebody I watch it. So that means that people we can educate each other. If I them things that we do on our channel and them things that eventually people are gonna watch it. eventually people are gonna listen to it. As long as it makes sense. Because the things them when not make no sense at them I get views. I'm say if the things them when not make no sense, I get views. And I think so the things them when make sense, I go get views too. But I say some people have their own agenda, you know. And this is the money, this is the money time, the money where money becomes God. So the next generation have to understand them things that money is not the answer. Understanding, overstanding, overstanding, learning, remembering, policies, them things that change. Because I say them people can take up a pencil, take up a book and write anything they want to write in there to make a difference in a society, but they don't. And them constantly show you say they can't do it. And constantly show you say anything where them want to do, anything that them want to do, they can do. But the things that we're supposed to do, we choose not to do it. I say it's the people and before we them used to have organization, them used to come together and organize things. Them did always have a goal. And enough of the things where them do still right now, we are benefit from it. Them say them are gonna tear down um some other part of them. Already erase it from them archive. Is the underground railroad. Really for the underground railroad, them say them a take her out of the archive from them history. Right? And them said them a look for take out lots more, whatever them a look for do, them just a go erase it and there's nothing we can do about it. Cause me say we no want nothing, you know. We don't want nothing. There are people then say them are gonna take out they take it out of them archive. Like say it never happened. Like I say people through his story it's so rich. Cannot be erased. I just weave it, just keep it up. So some of the things that me so refreshing, me see some young people, them so smart. Me see some activists or them understand the past and them see why it needs to change. So I'm saying I step on and I look at these things. It's amazing. So if them are gonna take out Harriet Tubman out of our history, can't take it out of our memory, no people. Are we if you just share it? Are we supposed that's our duty? Enough of them story yet people them talk. Them say it's our duty to remember. It's refreshing. So no say it not take much for our duty. But seeing or little people pay attention to them duty. So I say sometimes the argument them the argument that people want bring. I mean I say I'm fine. I don't wanna be in no argument cause you see, argument not solve nothing. Them people them come up with solution. They always did. And we get to understand so many people feel say them can't live up to the greatness of some of these people. But I don't like say them have to live up to the greatness of these people. Them just have to live up to for them greatness. Them just have to do for them part to make sure say for them part is done. And that a feel problem. We feel say somehow we have to solve the whole world problem. When I not so it work. We have to look on for a problem and I try solve it ourselves. And start off with the biggest thing is respect. Biggest thing is respect. And I say people, this is Orange Month, and I said just because the truth is it's refreshing. That are them things we need to change it. The truth is refreshing. The truth is mind but is mind clearing. The truth is the truth set you free. The truth kind of entrap some people, cause if them a live in a them lie them whole life and the truth. I think that the truth kind of entrap them. The truth that entrap them in how them think, and that's how them afraid of. But I like for hearing time people talk for them truth, because then you can compare to see if are the truth for everybody or the truth just for them. Because yes, some people are gonna look on it and say, well, them say the truth, and it might be truth for them, yes, but I know for everybody else. So truth need to be compared. That's why I rather listen to the people that may have sense. Because the people that may have sense, them not feel lie. The people that may say, look on this here. You can go do it. Research it for yourself. And that the man say, you can go Google it, you can go find encyclopedia and see where matter out. So as we proceed, people, it's always the truth. And if them scared of the truth, them scared of themselves. That can't be blamed upon nobody. Refuse to accept the truth. Can't be blamed upon nobody except yourself. So this a part one, people, of symbols, past, present, and future. As we proceed, people, thank all of the people that are subscribed to my channel and I watch my video them. Really appreciate love the subscribers them. Again, people, I say when things like I may have a couple like probably like 500 videos. Sure, some I got 500 lives. Then I can say drop the link and people can come reason. Right, people? I'm out.